Alright, we were working on the candy cane here. Let's keep going. So it's just a matter of taking off that hard edge, and you can round that up a little better. If you're having a hard time cutting it, you can spray it with that rubbing alcohol and water mix. It's 50-50. I use a 70% strength on that, and that will make it look kind of nice. So I'm going to have to work on that around on the tip here a little bit. There we go. So that's what it looks like. I'll work on distinguishing the hand here a little bit further when I'm offline. But meanwhile, I'm going to spray it a little bit, show you what it looks like. When I use a little bottle from Walmart. You can buy those real small, two ounces. I use a 6-ounce spray. It's not as fine mist as the other little 2-ounce. I usually carry that one with me if I'm traveling or going somewhere and need it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to we made our line here. Well, I thought we did. And I'm going to scoop this out just a little bit more. I'm not happy with that. So I'm just going to try to make that definitely a nice little scoop. There we go. And then we're going to take our little V tool after I remark it. I use a one of these mechanical pencils. You can buy these. These are like from Walmart. They work pretty good, even if the wood is a little bit wet. They'll work it. So I'm going to take my V tool. I usually rest my thumb against it, and I'll go around and follow that line. And see, I take little strokes at this. I don't try to do it all at once. And just try to keep your hands out of the way. Remember, your gloves are not going to protect you from stabs. It will help, but it won't protect you 100%. And your knife, it's more for slicing motion. Depends what kind of glove you get. If you get a real expensive one, I don't know what they cost with the metal mesh and all, that might prevent mostly everything, but most of the ones the carvers use is what's called a Kevlar Glove. It's like what the police use in their bulletproof vests. I have one at home because I worked in security and armed security, and a lot of times I would wear my vest, but they always told me that it won't protect you from a knife stab because it will go in between, the point will go in between the fibers, and that's why the bullets that they talk, the armor-piercing bullets, they're pointed, not rounded like a normal bullet. If it's a blunt one, it won't go through. And it's the same concept with this. If you take a knife and stab through the glove, it will go through. Or even with a gouge, it can go through. So it's not 100% protection from that. But it will protect you from the slicing motion for the most part. I have seen people go through the glove regardless. So it does give you a sense of I call it a false sense of security sometimes, that you can do anything you want. You still have to be careful, but then you minimize it by wearing the glove. And see, I'm going around. Okay, so what I do after I go around, this just makes it easier. I go from the downside, from the trim, and I hold it at an angle like the V tool was, and I go all the way around, and I just follow that out. Be very careful. Just take your time going around. Try not to rush when you carve. I know, there are some carvers that can whip out stuff really quick. That's all well and good, but when you go a little slower and take your time, you minimize cutting yourself. So, and then I'm going from the top side, and I'm going to take off that hard edge, and I'm going to try to find where that So it makes it look like the hat's tucked underneath the brim of the hat, or the trim of the hat. So, and also I'm going to go back around, I'm going to trim the hard edge off the bottom part of the hat. Take off those points a little bit, and then I can go back and redefine those lines underneath the hat. I usually do that anyway. If it's not deep in certain areas, I go back and try to take care of that. Okay, very good. And then I go back up here, and there's a little bit of a hard edge there as well. The other thing I also did with this is I put a lot of these wrinkle hat look, and that's pretty simple. But what we're going to do is we're going to draw it on so it's easier for you to. So we're going to put one here. We're going to put one here, and we're going to use our parting tool for this, and just kind of work our way up and around. A little bit of a circular motion. And then up here, I forgot to do this, we're going to put where the tassel's kind of sticking out. So we'll put two little lines at the top, and I'm going to go straight down, or a little bit at an angle, and notch that out. Alright, same thing over here. Then I round off the bottom part first, and I try to, so you can see a little bit of a, let me spray it, might show up a little bit better. See how it's done up a little bit better. This portion is going to stick up a little further. We're going to round off that edge as well, but we need to lower the one right at this side of the tassel. Alright, again we're going to use, I'm going to spray this, just makes it a little bit easier to cut. And you can make as many of these lines as you want to make it look like it's, and what I'll do first, I'll do it this way first, and then I'll go back, you'll see. I try to make it a little bit rounded, and I'll put one underneath there. You kind of just pick and choose where you want them. Try to put a little bit of a circular motion to it. A curvature to it makes it so much easier to see. Okay. How do I have the front here? I have a couple of wrinklies in the front, so we'll go from here over to that one there, and then maybe another one going up like that. Actually, let me see if I have it from the tassel. Yeah, a little bit. Alright, so what we want to do after we do all that, oh, we'll be right back.